Hello Libra, welcome to your reading for 16th to the 23rd of May 2026. And as always, it's going to be general, so please take the bits that resonate and leave the rest. Let's welcome in the archangels, ascended masters, light beings such as the Arcturians, Pleiadians, Assyrians, Andromedans and others, as well as any other spirit guides and our higher selves, and any animal, ancestral or dragon guides that you feel resonant with, Libra. Let's see what's going to jump out here for the center, for the start, sorry. Okay, Nine of Swords and Justice, the Tower, Two of Cups. Nine of Swords, Justice. I think what could be happening here, Libra, is that just recently there could be some Nine of Sword energy, which is sort of like, maybe that's people around you you're picking up on. This could be stress, anxiety. It could be some of your own stress and anxiety, okay, as well. But I feel like you are kind of, this is a blindfold energy, you're kind of going within to really work out what's, how much of this energy you're feeling is actually truth and how much of it is like illusionary, or if there's an element, an aspect of falseness to this energy and where it's coming from, okay, how it's starting. Is it from things, are you being triggered from things, subconscious things, are you getting triggered, or is it energies of people around you or other environments? I think you're really kind of going in here to kind of nut that energy out, if I can say that. You're investigating it to see if it is in fact where it's coming from, basically, what's causing it, and you're going to be aligning with your personal truth and coming into a better balance, a balanced view of it. You've got scales here as well, okay. So I think recently you've been kind of decided to just go within to really sort that out. We've got another card there. Let's just, Page of Swords. So yeah, curiosity. Right, it's almost like you're approaching this now with a childlike curiosity. You have the Knight of Cups, and you are doing this with care and attention, compassion for yourself, okay? This is you, like, you're feeling curious and compassionate about this energy that you've been experiencing in the past. What the effort is, where it's come from, and why has it been hanging around, if it has been hanging around, okay? Underlying theme is we have Eight of Swords and Nine of Swords. So there's this, first of all, this is the same energy that started the Nine of Swords. So I think you are definitely, an underlying theme is you're investigating some stresses that you've experienced in life. What has been causing you stress? Is it that there's lots of information coming at you that maybe you've been, allowing yourself to be bombarded with, and maybe that's just some information or data stuff, info, communications that you're needing to sort of decrease a lot of that type of thing in your life. That could be something that you are looking at sorting through. Or if it's stuff that's come from, old beliefs or ways of thinking and feeling about things that maybe you're looking to shift. You also have the Eight of Swords here. And this is that maybe you've believed that this energy is not something that you can change, that it's been around for a long time. But the Eight of Swords is always it's a choice, but sometimes it's the subconscious that perpetuates this stress or feeling of restriction, of not having freedom, of not having fulfillment in life. And it could be because of limiting beliefs, Libra, that you've continued to attach yourself to for whatever reason. Okay, maybe it's just that everyone in your family has those views, or it could be a generational thing, right? Maybe you're releasing generational trauma here, generational beliefs that are no longer assisting you in the higher vibrations. But you are, at the moment, you are really curious, and you are also, you know, you're coming in with this like loving attention, but this could also be someone else's energy who's close to you, a family or a friend that is, or a colleague even, that's supporting you. Maybe you're going through a challenging phase at this time to come into your personal truth. And here we have the Tower and the Two of Cups. General direction moving forward is that you're going to get some insights. Okay, there's going to be, I think you're going to literally burn, transmute and release off a lot of these, you know, this stress. You're going to understand where it's come from. You're going to understand why it's been hanging around, if it has. And this is going to then allow you to come into a greater connection with yourself, an even deeper self-understanding. Two of Cups here. Okay. And that is really awesome. That's what I can say about that, because the minute that we, you know, transmute the lower frequencies and release, well, it doesn't happen in 1 minute. It happens over, you know, it can happen over a lifetime. It can happen over many years for us to release things. But it's usually, once the release gets to a certain point, you may start to feel lighter, and probably with your Page of Swords here, you are kind of feeling into this lighter, almost like a childlike energy, where your inner child is saying, you know, I just want to feel happy. Why is this other energy hanging around, and why do I keep feeling that, possibly? Okay. So your higher self knows that this is the process that you are, you know, you're coming into a process of alignment. This is your Power card, Libra, by the way, Justice. So you are coming into a greater understanding of your consciousness. Let's grab an outcome, and maybe something you're not aware of. Nine of Swords again. Wow. 3 times in your reading. You also have the Magician, which is a very most awesome energy to come out with the Nine of Swords, because this energy, the Magician or the Enchanter in this deck, is very resourceful. Inner resources and external resources, Libra. And this is your outcome, is that you're going to be activating your inner resources to overcome this Nine of Swords here. Or this is the 9 of Challenges in this deck. And this can be literally what, you know, your inner child could be feeling like. Maybe there's some fear. Okay. Because fear can certainly keep us in this energy here. Okay. There could be fear. Maybe there's apprehension, a bit of anxiety, of stepping into the unknown. Or there could be something from your childhood that has not been addressed, or that you haven't processed, perhaps as well as could be. And maybe that's going to be something that you're going to access here with your inner Magician. You're going to access probably your subconscious. And you're going to be unpacking and transmuting that 9 of Swords. Because what you don't see coming is that you have this beautiful Queen of Wands here. This is a feeling of creativity, of freedom, of passion. Okay, a very different energy from the 9 of Swords here, which is the stress energy, the apprehension, the fear, and, you know, very different from the 8 of Swords, which is, you know, self-restriction, possibly self-limitation. Okay. And there's also a 5 of Challenges here, which is the 5 of Swords, which is an egoic energy. So this could be that it's simply that your ego, if this is your inner child here, your freedom, passionate self, then it could be that you may not be aware, Libra, that your ego has been trying to subvert this. There's something about an old way of doing things or an old belief, probably symbolized by this tower in its fully structured state. Okay, a fully built tower that is, you know, steeped in tradition and all the rest of it. And can also be representative of the ego. It's that thing that's been created in order to survive a certain era, a certain way of life, a certain way of being. And that in some ways the inner child has been held captive in this. Because here we have the general direction moving forward is that this is going to have fire applied to it. And here is the fire, the queen of fire. Okay, so you're going to be releasing out of that ego. This is a transmutation process that's going to go on. And the ego is going to have to give way to this fire. The fire of your inner child is going to have to, or it will, be released and activated and felt more by you. But your ego is the one that is going to have to, well, it will need to start communicating with your inner child. And here we have the magician, you know, gently working with that inner child here that is afraid. So there's some reassurance that needs to be probably happen. And if you do feel that you need to see a therapist to do some inner child work, Libra, then that could be something worth looking at, right? Yeah. And it's interesting that, I mean, the ego here, this is a giant that's literally uprooted a tree, you know, and the tree is the roots, has the roots that go deep. So it's like you're going to be probably uprooting some of this subconscious stuff that maybe you have held, and the inner child energy can be certainly be held in the subconscious. Just as is often, you know, the higher self. But like I said before, the inner child is highly spiritual, as is the higher self, okay? So once the inner child is accessed and you can kind of start to feel that energy, then your spiritual aspect can be felt more so. And then, of course, then the higher self can be felt as well. So sometimes we need to access the inner child in some ways before we can even access the higher self. But maybe you can do both sort of simultaneously or alternatively, because everything's in layers, right? Lots of layers to the inner child, lots of layers to the higher self, and of course the ego, right? But the ego can come into a good working relationship and friendship with the higher self and the inner child, which is what you're kind of wanting here. And this might be what you may not be aware of, is that your ego and your inner child are not at odds with each other, okay? If this is survival and this is freedom, they can communicate. They don't have to be separate things. It's not like nowadays with the frequencies as such, it's not like we have to repress the inner child so that we can survive. We don't have to do that anymore, okay? Spirit guidance for you, Libra. And here we have the healing. Okay, this is the inner child. If there's been some, you know, you need some healing in that area, Three of Swords. And I really like these energies because you also have the Three of Cups. Here is that joy, which is like that Queen of Wands there, that freedom, creativity, joy, happiness, okay? And Five of Wands. Yeah, this is the fine tuning, the fine honing, that having that courage to go forth with the element of fire to transform this, the tower of the ego. Okay, this is ego dissolving, right? Not to disappear completely, but to allow some other energies to come forward. Five of Wands. Awesome. Let's look at the bottom of the deck for you. Ace of Wands. Yes, fire, fire, fire. we really want to burn down that tower. At least so that other things can grow there, so there can be some new growth or even something else restructured. It's almost, you know, talking about the old paradigm is, of course, dissolving when we're creating a new paradigm. I already love this energy for you, Libra, here. Ace of Fire, there's so much potential in that element for you. It's so transmutive, transformative. Okay, and the Lovers, yeah, very much like the Two of Cups here, coming into a greater understanding of yourself, more self-compassion, more self-awareness, more self-love, self-care, okay? And a greater understanding of your creativity, your spirituality. But also in doing that, being able to release yourself from these energies of stress, possibly overanalysis, okay? Stress, anxiety, but also potentially your possibly a tendency or an ability to pick up energies of others around you. So you may be more empathic than you realize, Libra. You may be highly sensitive to energies around you. In which case you need to cleanse your field, okay? And this, the element of water here, we have King of Cups, is a beautiful cleansing energy to help you go with the flow, you know, using the element of water. Showers, drinking lots of water, going out on the beach, yeah, going with the flow. King of Cups in this deck, which is a beautiful fish swimming through the water there. Very soothing element. And here we have the Four of Swords, which I'm kind of really glad that this has popped up for you, Libra, because you are air of air. And I was thinking that, sorry, cardinal air. So you are very analytical, and you have, you know, you may have a tendency to overthink, if that resonates. I mean, you will know if you do, and many of us do, okay? And here you are really resting that mind, Four of Swords, meditating, doing something calming, coming into center. Maybe you're doing some breath work, okay? Spirit could be putting this in here for you to tune into or even research how we can use certain breath practices to modify our state of consciousness, so we can come into calmer states of consciousness through using the breath, okay, in a conscious way, slowing the breath, doing the counts, things like the box breath. You could Google the box breath, belly breath, 3-part breath, okay. There are many, lots of different breathing techniques that we can use, and many adepts and, you know, hermits, monks and people like that, you know, they've used, Buddhists and yogic practices, they use that type of thing a lot. And here we have the card, which has jumped, and it's interesting because it's landed right in the middle of the reading. So here we go, cosmic self. This is what you are moving into. This is what your ego is making way for, or rather what your ego is integrating with, is your cosmic self. This is such an awesome card. And before I read here, I just want to mention that this chakra here, the brow chakra, you are all about the element of thought, Libra. So along with thought also comes intuition and awareness, okay? And this is what the brow chakra is. Underneath here it says, you are a cosmic being. Stay confident in your truth. Yes. Okay. Stay confident in your truth. Work out what your truth is. Work out what's true for you and what is not true. These energies may be old energies. They may actually be, they may all be completely false. It's not that they're not real because you've been experiencing them possibly. But perhaps these energies do not actually define you. They are just experiences. They could be energies in your field, but you can clear your field. And, you know, the cosmic self is not these energies. Okay, the cosmic self is more like the light, the potential of oneness. Here we got the Ace. It is joy, okay? 3 of Cups. And I'm going to say oneness here because I think the fish really feels at home in the water. right? So feeling really at home, peace, harmony, balance as well, Libra. And yeah, I think this is a really cool reading for you, because this is really reminding you that even though you may be sensing a whole lot of stuff, thinking a whole lot of stuff, you can, with your power of your consciousness, put all that to the side and just dwell on your in and with your cosmic self here. Okay. Yeah. And the interesting thing is that your ego will tell you otherwise, possibly. But like we've said, you know, if the Tower in its upright state is representing the ego, okay, it will, in your reading, general direction forward, is that it will be not being destroyed, it is being dissolved so that it can be restructured. Okay, and this is what many of us are going through. We're dissolving our old idea of what the ego is so that we can reconstruct it and rebuild it with the higher self more present. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful for you, Libra. Yeah, I look forward to your next reading. In the meantime, have a great day, a fantastic week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.